So back to the oiling circuit on this VF750. What I've done, I've taken our new sandwich plate off, and we've just got exposed the standard setup ready for where where the oil filter goes. So what I found, I've got it running now. It's just on a separate tank here and etc. What I found is did the carb balance on it, and yeah, we can get right up to about 80 psi when she's cold, and then obviously as the temperature increases that does drop. We're still running our little blank in the, you can just see it in there. So we're still running the little blank. We're just using the oil pipes from the sandwich plate. So a bit more research and a bit looking into how Honda did it, and it seems I can work out that they only used one pipe into a Y piece. So what I'm going to do, I'm not condemning this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a Y piece now with a different sandwich plate that I've managed to get, that I actually think is a better version. But as anything, it's trial and error, this sort of thing, isn't it? So I'm definitely not going back to reverting to the bunging to the original oil line around here. So I'm going to use one of these two combinations. So okay, so the facts of it are the oil pressure dropped right down to I reckon we were about 10 psi hot at idle. So I'd like to see more than that, with two pipes supplying, one pipe supplying each cylinder bank. So so yeah, what I'm going to do, and because I've got some other fittings and a bit more pipe, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make up another set of pipes just using one and split it into a Y piece as per the HRC box that's actually out on the right hand side, and come off and feed both both banks of cylinders just with one line from the sandwich plate splitting into two. Now it's a similar setup to the original line, one splitting into two, yes, but we've got, I feel, a better supply rather than everything else has had its supply and before we can I mean, even going by the hole that was in the banjo originally. So what I'd like to see is the oil pressure just back up a little bit, the oil pressure relief valve opening slightly earlier, and well, the proof's going to be in the pudding, isn't it? Let's make up another set of pipes and with a Y piece in, and let's try that. The sandwich plate, in fact, can I get over to that now? Yeah, I can, I think. The sandwich plate, just watching my CB750. Okay, so the idea on the sandwich plate is, this is the original one that's just come off, hence the oil. Okay, so this one came out and did the left hand side, and then that one came out and went under and around and up to the left hand side, sorry, the rear cylinders, and that came out and did the front cylinders. What I propose to do is block off two of these ports, and the reason I like this a little bit better as well is the rubber positioning of the rubber is narrower, slightly narrower. Now the rubber that's on there, it's just it's right on the minimal amount, whereas that fits the actual opening and the oil filter exactly. So that's a better fit, I believe. Again, these things you can't tell till you've got them in your hand. You see them online and that sort of thing, and you think, well, is it? Nobody can give you exact measurements. Best thing to do is buy it. It's in your hand and you can measure it. And it turns out, I feel this is the better one than this. So anyway, let's we'll pick it up in a bit. I'm going to block these off, and I get some PTFE tape around these and tighten these up and leave one, change one. So as we can see, we'll end up with that sort of size delivery, and then we're going to T into two. If I have that to hand, T into two. Now when I made the pipes, I'll show you what I've got. Okay, here we go. I've just dug it out. This is the wire piece I'm going to use. Looks just like the pictures, and if I can do this video editing in any degree of accuracy, in a minute I'm going to enclose a picture. So there, with that picture, it's coming off the sandwich plate on the HRC bikes, appears to be anyway, coming off the sandwich plate, coming round from the front, coming round towards the right hand side, into a T, into this T, like this, and then going off to the two banks. So let's make the pipes up and let's have a look. And there we go. Okay, so we now have our split into two. As you can see, goes up to that banjo bolt and that banjo bolt up there. So looks kind of nice. The Y piece in it. We've still got a pressure gauge in, obviously for test purposes. And if we can just have a look in there, we can see the new sandwich plate, which is a better fit, I have to say. It's a better fit. Still just a bit of oil from changing over and a bit that's stripped down, but all the plugs are put in, thread taped, pipes made to suit. So I suppose the proof is in the pudding, as they say. Right, okay. Can we actually get a clear reading of that? A second. Clear reading of that gauge. If we can. Straight across from the centre of the gauge to that Allen bolt is 80 psi. Okay, so I'm going to fire her up. Ignition on. Probably won't be able to hear me, but let's have a look what happens. We need some choke. Hang on. See, you can hear me, idle, it's cold, coldish anyway, we're about 40 psi at 1000 RPM, so you see it just fluctuating there. I'm just going to try and hold the torch with the camera, just give it a bit of a blip, see how quickly he introduces oil pressure back. Here we go. Remember, we're seeing oil pressure at the crank. This is the oil pressure at the crank that we're actually seeing. So what I'm going to do now, rather than bore you lot, I'm going to get it warm, okay, and then I'll have a look at the oil pressure readings. It's changed by going 2 into 1. Okay, it's going to be difficult to do this. Got a light on here. Yeah, we have. Right, okay. You can see water temperature in the centre there, coming out of those cylinders, kind of 58, 60 degrees. It's too hot to touch. It's too hot, definitely too hot to touch. And at idle, 25 to 30. 1000 RPM. Immediately rev it up. Still a little calm hanging. As far as oil pressure goes, we're dropping off at 80 psi. I think that's pretty definitive to the doubters, I have to say. So that is a better way. Better way of reading them cans. I think it's better than that. now starts to, it's just running on that little tank up there. So there we go. I think that's pretty definitive that we can still make 80 psi when it's hot. And she's hot. She's hot. We can still make 80 psi hot with taking the oil supply to the cams out from the front. So a good clean down, slightly more work. That's how I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it 1 into the 2. I know there's still a better oil supply going up there than what there was originally. And again, if we can find a picture on my computer to do this, the HRC bikes show a device very similar to that. So there we go. A relatively simple thing to do, and it has to be said, it's, for me, it safeguards our cams. The other thing I'm going to add to this is right, just bear with me, I need to, the caps that go on there, just bear with me, I'm going to have to go and fetch one. Just hang fire at 2 minutes, 2 seconds, 2 minutes. Might as well just keep it going on this video. Right, these caps, the cam caps, can I get it in the right light? Can I get it in the right light? There he is. What I'm going to try and do here, okay, see the little oil hole in there? Minute, tiny little oil hole. Well, I've drilled them out. Okay, because you can supply as much as you want here, but it only comes in here, and it's just a really feeble amount of oil to lubricate the cam. You always need 3 hands, don't you? But that little oil hole in there, in all 8 caps, I've drilled it out. Not by much, and if I can find the drill I did it with, if anyone wants to know, I'll tell you what size I sent it to. Okay, the little oil hole in there, this has actually got slightly bigger oil to give more oil to this bearing surface as well. Okay, and we're still making, with more oil flow definitely up the top there, we're still making 80 psi hot as we increase the revs, and it idles at what, 25, 26, 27 psi. You know, that has to be, that's got to be the way. So there we go. That's how I know that I've got good cams in this and they're going to stay good. We've got good oil in it, good cams, and we've got a good oil feed, which is, to me, is absolutely necessary. So it's onwards with it now. Build it back up properly. We can get on with the bodywork, brakes, etc., and get this thing put back on the road. Okay, thanks for following this. I think that's pretty definitive. You can go down the road of the 2 pipes to each separate bank, or go down the road of 1 pipe and a T-piece, which I feel 2 drops the oil pressure probably a little bit too much. And it's probably throwing buckets of oil up at the top up here. I know we want, but you know, by dropping the oil pressure, it only drops the oil pressure at idle to concern me. It's still made around 70 psi, you know, with the 2 pipes on, as per a previous video. You'll have to look at that video, it's been a while. So, but there we go, that's pretty definitive. I'm going to take that out now and then put the oil sender back in. But yeah, I mean, that's tapped straight into the crank's oil gallery. That is the oil pressure that the crank's getting, and there we go. So it's kind of argument over, and look, all it needed was just needed trying this. I mean, Honda did it for a reason when they were racing them. So so there we go. That's it. That's the way this one stays, and we'll pick it up when I start getting on the bodywork. Thanks for watching this again, peeps. And there we go.